Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your old pal, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And I want to welcome my good fiends of the Horror Heals podcast. Is horror good for mental wellness? But of course it is. I delight in the delicious deaths of pitiful people on the silver screen. So get ready for a hell of a good time with my new fiends, Corey and Kendall, on the Horror Heals podcast.
Welcome back to Horror Heals, the podcast where the season might be merry, but the stories are downright scary. Today, we're decking the halls with dread as we dive into the twisted Yuletide world of Black Christmas, the OG slasher that made us fear the phone and check the attic. And who better to celebrate with than the incomparable Lynne Griffin, the legend behind Claire, horror's most iconic victim with a bag over her head and a rocking chair to call her own. Lynn, it's an honor to have you on this, the 50th anniversary of Black Christmas. Let's unwrap this bloody gift together.
Hello.
Hi, Lynn.
Hey, I'm sorry this has been such a roundabout event. I didn't know I was going to have to get a root canal.
Oh, no.
And then it didn't go as planned, and I got really sick anyway, but I'm better now.
Wow, good.
I had to get a root canal when I was 12. It's a comedy of errors story. I was shoveling the driveway, and I guess it's a holiday-related thing because I was shoveling the snow off the driveway in the Midwest. I went to put the snow shovel back over the fence. I put it shovel first, and our sweet German Shepherd mix dog Gizmo jumped up, smacked the shovel part of it, which knocked the handle into my mouth and knocked my tooth in half into the snow on a Saturday. So trying to get into the dentist on a Saturday in the 1980 was not easy.
Oh, my God. Well, knock on wood, I have been a really healthy person all my life. So now 72 years old. But as far as dental stuff, I have had nightmare after nightmare.
Wow.
I finally did a lot of research and found a dentist that could correct all the mistakes that had happened by previous dentists.
Wow.
Thank God I found this guy, because he was like, oh, no, you can't do this. And, people, I guess if anything went wrong, they just wanted to pull teeth out.
Right.
And I went, no, what? They make to keep my teeth if I can?
No kidding.
Everything seems okay right now.
Good.
Till the next time.
Well, we're glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I hope you're feeling well and full of holiday spirit. Right?
That's right.
Oh my goodness, yes. Well, we are. And it's, Black Christmas has been one of our favorites and annual celebration here. So we started sharing the movie with our cousins who lived near us in Boston a few years back. And we've just we created like a Black Christmas party. And they adore it. There's wine involved. Barb would be proud.
Yeah, exactly.
Barb would be pleased. Yeah, Barb would be pleased. Claire would probably switch to the hot chocolate.
So, yeah, it's a treat getting to speak with you. And literally just about a half an hour ago, I'd mentioned to Kendall, I think they earlier this year released a making of book about Black Christmas. And while Googling that, just realized that someone wrote a novelization of the movie that's coming out this month. And you wrote the foreword to it.
Yeah. I tell you, there has been so much interest. There's been building interest certainly over the last 5 years, but because of it being 50 years old this year, other people are doing a board game. A couple of young filmmakers and myself made a sequel to Black Christmas that you can watch on YouTube. It's for free. It's me, Billy. I said to them, well, I can't be in it. I'm dead. They said, no, we've written a role for you. I play Claire's sister, Nancy, a private investigator who solves the long ago cold case.
Really
Ooh,
cool.
Love that.
You can watch it on YouTube. Parts, chapter 1 and chapter 2. I suggest you watch the two of them together. And I'm in the second half.
Very cool.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, right?
But yeah, and now somebody has made an action figure of Claire. There is an action figure of Claire. I think you really know you've made it once.
Yep.
You have your own action figure.
Absolutely.
And the detail is brilliant, right down to the bag on the head, and the costume is brilliant. She's sitting in a rocking chair.
I love it. Well, we will have that soon.
We've got to get
It's the
that.
gift that keeps on giving.
What's really remarkable about the movie, well, there's many remarkable things about Black Christmas, but, while the Claire character is only briefly in the movie, she carries through the entire film. I said to Kendall the other day, I bet the name Claire is the most spoken name in the full movie.
I'm sure that's true.
And of course, the image of Claire, with the bag in her head on the rocking chair, it was, used in the marketing. That's the iconic image. When people think of Black Christmas, that is the image they think of you suffocated.
That's why once the film was rediscovered when it was released on DVD and Blu-ray, fans started coming after the movie, I guess. Now I have all these conventions, and I get to sign pictures of myself with a bag on my head.
Right.
Sometimes if things get really slow at the conventions, I'll put a bag on my head, and then I get a lot of attention.
I love it.
There are pictures of me with the bag on my head. Oh, it's crazy. When we were making the film, towards the end of it, Bob Clark took me aside and said, I want to show you something. And took me and showed me the mock-up of the poster. And said, I hope you're all right with this. We wanted to use this image on the poster. And I thought that was kind of amazing and wonderful. Little did I know how many years later that image is like everywhere.
Yes. So you mentioned the conventions, and that the conventions are near and dear to our hearts here. And this podcast concept happened because of a horror convention, just seeing how powerful the healing power of horror is for our mental wellness. I imagine you've had people come up to your table over the years and talk to you about that.
That's really fascinating because I've certainly talked to a lot of people recently about it. I found one of the things fascinating with how many young women were coming up to me and telling me that they felt the film was very empowering for young women. At the time, we didn't think that. But because, first of all, Jess Bradshaw, she takes matters into her own hands. We're talking about making a film in late 73, releasing it in 74. And she talks about getting an abortion, which was absolutely forbidden back then. Nobody spoke of getting an abortion. I grew up Roman Catholic. Each of the characters is flawed, but each of the characters, even though, I guess because, we all die except for dear Olivia. And I think you feel there's strength in all those women in different ways, and they show it in different ways. It's really interesting that this is now another element for me to think of it being in some way healing or empowering to be able to say you can take charge of your own life. You can move forward. I keep thinking of Jess and how strong she is. And when we were making the sequel, we really wanted to create new characters that would be in the sequel as strong young women as well. Jess Bradshaw, in our thinking, does not have an abortion, and she does give birth to a child who then gives birth to another child who is Sam, who stars in It's Me, Billy. To bring these characters back and have them committed to finding the answer is part of what I always think of with mental health issues. It's very important to find your answer. And if that means looking very directly into yourself and saying, what are the demons? What are they? And let me identify them and let me remove them, or at least set them aside, or at least know how to deal with them on a day-to-day basis.
Yes, and I think you hit upon something really important, is that here we are 50 years later, and the conversations and the things that are still happening, at least in the United States. It's amazing. If you think about the Peter character and his point of view, it's like, wow, how poignant that was for Bob Clark to recognize 50 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And it made me think of something else last time, but
it'll come back.
Because of other things that I've been talking to people about. And I guess one of the things was that someone had asked me, why do you think there is this sort of subgenre of humanity who is fascinated with horror? I find that a hard question to answer. I have met so many people through the conventions who have a devotion to this genre like it's a religion to them. And yet they're wonderfully charming, open. I love meeting these people. They're fascinating because their commitment to particular films, and Black Christmas being one of them, is astonishing to me. And I do wonder, what is it about the horror genre that does attract people? What say you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll say
your answer to that.
For us, I think it started out as a feeling of being a little bit of an outsider. As young people, Kendall and I are a couple. Right. And so growing up as a gay person, feeling a little bit like I'm on the fringe and sort of connecting with the characters who are the outsiders, but they're fighting back. They're persevering against the demons.
And I think that's what sets Black Christmas apart, because it's not just about people meeting horrendous ends. It's not just about that. There's a much deeper core, I think, in the movie.
Absolutely.
And, I'm not even really sure I can say for certain, although I think Bob Clark was a genius in many ways as a filmmaker, and also a very well-adjusted, happy person who was making horror movies, although he also made A Christmas Story, which was my other favorite Christmas movie.
Right.
But that he had that awareness at the time. I can't say that we were in that bubble of going, this is going to be an important film down the road. I can't say that we felt that. I assume Bob was actually trying to portray a lot, because even though the script is written by somebody else, so much of the input in the film is Bob's.
Yeah.
It's definitely Bob. And Bob was one of the jolliest person I have ever met. I mean, he made the whole thing like a Christmas party. You're making a horror movie, but you're all having the best time. Just the best. Songs, drinks, cookies. Every day was like a Christmas party.
Right.
Even in the attic.
Was that?
He still made it fun. It was basically Burt Dunk, the cinematographer, and myself in the attic. And Bob would sit in the rocking chair opposite me with his foot on the rocker. So he's rocking me back and forth. And he's the one that likes to sing and make jokes and, even say to me at one point, okay, the crew is breaking for lunch. Lynn, just stay there. We'll bring me something with a straw. I mean, just a delightful human being. And a real technical genius, too. So much of the cinematography was groundbreaking at the time.
Incredible. You hit upon a couple of great things. The combination of the writing and directing. You get to know these characters well so quickly. Yeah. And you get to know Claire, even after she's killed, you get to know her better through the characters that continue to appear in the film. There's no generic person here. Everybody seems very real. You juxtapose that with such a unique idea for the killer, is that you never see the killer, but you see things through the killer's eyes. It's so disturbing,
Yeah. Well, but I think this is why, it truly is disturbing, because I always think you're more frightened of what you don't know or you don't see you hear something, you hear the creak in the wall or in the attic or in the basement, but you don't know what it is. You're not shown right away what it is.
Right.
And I mean, we love the fact when we were making It's Me, Billy, that they kept saying the only reference we really have for Billy, because obviously Billy is the star and It's Me, Billy, is the eyeball. And they said, do you remember what color the eyeball was? Because we're going to get an eyeball. We want an eyeball. I remember this color of his eyeball. It's very clear. That's the only thing you do see of Billy in Black Christmas.
And I love that you also bring up A Christmas Story, because here's this super dark Christmas movie, the bleakest of the bleak. We really don't know at the end of the movie, is Jess going to survive? Billy is still in the house. The cops leave.
Poor Claire. Nobody has even bothered to find her.
She's being well preserved in that cold attic.
Now, that would have been an interesting sequel.
And then on the flip side, you've got A Christmas Story almost a decade later, which has also become one of the most beloved and rewatched Christmas movies of all time. I was thinking about this earlier today. What if A Christmas Story is actually the prequel to Black Christmas?
Oh, God.
And Billy is actually the boy character grown up, you know? It's like, Billy, you'll shoot your eye out.
Are you saying the little boy grows up to be Billy?
Well, it could be. Two different time periods.
Randy is very, very suspect.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true. That is true. It could be Randy.
Randy. I mean, he likes to hide under the kitchen sink with his cup of milk. So, he's obviously... But then again, you go... this thing with the rifle, and you'll shoot your eye out.
Right.
I mean, there it goes. Shoot your eye out. Really interesting.
Yeah. I think we've hit upon something. I think we've got like the mashup movie that we've got to make now.
The more it does, it does like, when I think of how many times I've watched the film, I actually watched it once on an IMAX screen, which was incredible. I saw so many things I hadn't seen before. But it does keep bringing up issues and conversation. And certainly for the last year and a half, when we've been working on this other film and trying to really collaborate and put together, what do we think actually happened? Mm-hmm. What did actually happen? It's been fascinating to think also, because I think you'll find It's Me, Billy really interesting, because it does deal with mental health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Particularly Billy's. And what is Billy's story?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, how do you feel about the remakes there's been 2 remakes over the years?
I mean, initially everybody told me not to watch them. There was one that I didn't mind and one that I thought was ridiculous. Some of the acting in it was really, really quite fine. And then there was one where somehow they introduced some sort of black view and some fraternity. I kind of got lost in whatever the story they were trying to tell it. And also, I don't know how well they'd actually captured what the original was like, and the atmosphere in the original. They seem to kind of go a little almost comic, which... Well, or at least I thought it was that. I couldn't suspend my disbelief. I don't believe this. The thing about Black Christmas, the original, is you can believe everything is actually happening. Once you start introducing some surreal elements, it loses its authenticity to me.
Yes. And I think the magic of the original is that you are left almost in the dark as to who the Billy character is. You get little hints through the phone calls, but I love movies that let your imagination run wild, because you really don't know what's happening when he's voicing his parents and what happened to Agnes. Your mind can go to some really scary places.
I think you're going to be fascinated when you watch It's Me, Billy. You're going to go, wow, what is it? We went all over the place, and it is really interesting because the young lady, Victoria, who plays Sam, who is the granddaughter of Jess Bradshaw.
Yeah.
And we kept saying to her, so you must be the wart. Because when Agnes says it's just like having a wart removed, I always assume she's referring to having an abortion. It's just like having a wart removed. So we kept calling Victoria the wart.
Wow. Okay. That's a wild concept to think about.
Like fascinating that you go, if we look beyond Black Christmas. I don't think that Bob ever really meant to make a sequel. I think he kept the ending enigmatic for a reason. I never heard that he was actually planning on doing anything to, obviously tie a neat bow on the end of that film and try and but these two young Canadian filmmakers decided that they would do it. I was delighted that they did, because I think it is something that everybody said, what did happen?
Right.
Who is Billy?
Right.
Mhm.
Who is Agnes?
For sure.
And you'll get to meet them anyway.
After dinner.
Okay.
So
Okay, yeah, it's a nice Christmas aperitif.
Sure. We would be remiss if we didn't mention a very underrated film that you were in called Curtains, which also takes place in wintertime.
No spoilers, everyone, but it is nice to actually make it to the end of a film. I have been killed so many different ways on film. My husband and I always drew up a list. Drowning, yeah. Set on fire, yeah. Jumped from a tall building, yeah. There's so many strangles, yeah. Okay. So, it is interesting to actually talk about Curtains from a different perspective of my character.
Yeah.
Although I try not to be a spoiler because nobody knows. And even when they're watching the film, they evidently don't really suspect much. So it's an interesting, what would you call that, a bookend to that particular decade of my career.
Right. Well, we'll keep it spoiler free here. I mean, if people haven't watched Black Christmas yet, shame on them. And they should know that that Claire dies in the first act.
Chris had a lot of problems initially, and the director took his name off it. We did a lot of reshoots on it. Maybe even the last quarter or third of the film is something that we shot a year later, after Peter Simpson, the producer, took over and decided to do a new ending for the film. When it was released, I remember seeing it in an awful little movie theater in New York somewhere with about 6 other men. It came out in a bootleg version with some other films. But then somebody discovered it, decided to remaster it, and the new, clean, beautiful Blu-ray, it's fantastic. Even though I still think there's a lot of holes in the film, I think when you watch it, if you watch it carefully, you're going, wait a minute, what happened to him? And how did she get here? Oh, there's a lot of loose ends in it.
Right.
But I think it still holds up. And I just always love the idea of, 6 actresses up for the same part, and one of them will kill to get it. The story of my life.
Love that.
It was really, really fun. The cast was really fun. I really loved working with John Vernon. I loved the original director, Richard Shupka. I thought he was terrific. He was such an auteur. He had such a gorgeous eye, the way he was filming things and the way he directed it. But I think the producing company wanted more of a slasher film. So they got what they wanted. I think now Curtains may have a little bit more of a life, and more people seem to be gradually discovering it.
I hope so, because it's definitely an underrated gem. So
I was plucked out of the Stratford Festival in Canada playing Shakespearean roles to play a stand-up comic, which was terrifying. I had never done anything like that in my life. Ray said to me, okay, we're going to shoot that scene where you have your stand-up routine, and we're going to shoot it at Yuck Yucks, the comedy place where Jim Carrey got his start in Toronto. You just write something, and we're going to film it with a live audience.
Oh, my goodness.
No pressure.
Right.
No pressure. No. It was a lovely challenge, and I was always playing what Claire is referred to as the perpetual virgin. So to play someone who was
experienced.
a little more spoken, racy, randy, whatever you want to call her.
Right.
She speaks her mind. So it was a lovely character to play. Very different.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the last question that we always ask our guests, and I have a little bit of a sneaking suspicion who you might say, but who is your favorite final person in a horror film? A character, a favorite final person. Yes.
My favorite character. in a horror film.
Well, final character, the one that makes it through and lives till the end.
Well, that certainly wouldn't be me. Oh, geez. Thinking about how much I like Halloween and how much I'm just enamored with Jamie Lee Curtis and the fact that she won an Oscar. I don't know whether I would call it my favorite character in a horror.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, well, I would think it would be more like, for me, like, it would probably be a favorite villain.
Okay.
As opposed to...
That's totally fair.
But I don't know if we're talking like older films or modern ones.
Any.
One of my favorite characters, and I don't know whether it's really a horror film, is the way the Joker has been portrayed. Recently.
Okay.
And I don't know if you have watched The Penguin.
I haven't finished it yet, but I have started it, yeah. And it's pretty darn good.
The Penguin's pretty great. But you see, I do favor villains, and they're always much more fun to play rather than the goody girl. Right. Much more fun to play the bad girl. I have put it out into the universe that if someone listens to any of these podcasts that I do, what I want to play before it's too late is the little sweet lady who lives next door who invites you over for tea and cookies, but she's really a serial killer.
I've got this twisted idea, and Kendall and I have been going back and forth about some fiction stuff that we want to write. There is a screenplay that I want to write called Grandma and Grandpa's House. The inspiration comes from my sweet grandparents who would never harm a fly, but I want to turn them into serial killers.
Brilliant. My husband is an actor, so, this is something that we've been trying to work on. We're actually working with some guy in Chicago right now and talking about trying to because my husband wrote a play called The Slaughter Brothers Dime Circus. We're trying to turn that now into a film. There's something about the sweet, benign, she probably has lots of cats and sings when she's gardening and would be the least person that you would expect. Then I came up with the idea that she likes to do jigsaw puzzles. The operative word being saw. Once she has dismembered everybody in the basement, after giving them tea and cookies, she puts them back together like a jigsaw puzzle.
Oh, I love that.
So it has kind of a Frankenstein theme to it. This all came because my husband just shot Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. So he had a part in that. So we've been obsessed with Frankenstein at the moment and, reanimating. That might be in Frankenstein. The monster might be my favorite character. Okay. The one that scares me the most is the werewolf in the original Werewolf.
Yeah.
That terrified me. I don't know, something about this guy just turned into a werewolf in front of your eyes, and that kind of crazy stop motion thing that they do with the makeup. Terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's write the screenplay. Yeah. This is it just seems to me it's gonna happen somewhere, somehow.
I love it.
I keep having these images of, because I have this really elaborate scissor collection. And that I do. Lynn does have a scissor collection. Some of them are quite gruesome looking. But you go, that would be part of it, too. She likes to collect. Oh, you know what movie I really like, speaking of Frankenstein and then Pearl. Did you see the movie Pearl?
Oh, yes.
With Mia Goth?
Yeah.
So Mia Goth plays the young woman in Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein as well. So I got to meet her. What a sweetheart. But again, that kind of, Pearl is such a character that you just don't suspect. There's something about the innocence of someone. And I always think there's a phrase that says the devil always wears a pleasing face.
Yeah.
So if you could see me right now, I'm smiling, my dimples are showing. What? Do we never said this? I could be a drug smuggler. I could be the Jackal.
Right. I love that.
There's another good series right now. The Jackal is airing with Eddie Redmayne. I love all this stuff. I love the sort of, in fact, in early days, I'd say probably Lizzie Borden was the person who fascinated me the most.
We love how your mind works, Lynn. It's fantastic. It's giving me all sorts of inspiration for what we can have Grandma do.
Now, where are you located?
We are in New England, just on the seacoast of New Hampshire, right outside of Maine. It's beautiful here.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, it's very nice.
That's a place I've always wanted to visit. I'm in Toronto, so I'm in this pocket that we only got a little bit of a dusting, but around us, like north of us, northern Ontario, and certainly south of us, when you're talking Buffalo, Detroit, like below Lake Ontario, got just dumped.
Ugh.
And we haven't seen much of it here at all, knock on wood. The great part is that my husband is originally from California, so we head back to my husband's home state in San Diego to celebrate with his family.
Oh.
I'm hoping the sun will be shining.
Yes. Oh, love San Diego. So beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Well, this has been a delight, and we will definitely stay in touch. You've got my wheels turning about the grandma and grandpa movies. As soon as I get a good outline going, I'll send it your way.
And make sure that you send me an address so that I can send you one of my Black Christmas homemade snow globes or ornaments.
Oh, absolutely. We would adore that. Thank you so much.
Lynn, thank you for this gift of a conversation and for giving us so much to chew on. From terrifying addicts to serial killer grandmas. Your stories, your creativity, and your humor are as timeless as Black Christmas itself. To our listeners, let this be a reminder that horror isn't just about the blood and gore. It's about survival, strength, and sometimes even finding your community of fellow weirdos. So, light a candle for Claire, pour one out for Barb, keep your ears tuned for those holiday creaks in the attic. Until next time, stay spooky, stay safe, and have a killer holiday season. And remember, when someone asks, is horror good for mental wellness? You tell them, of course it is. The Horror Heals podcast is produced and presented by How the Cow Ate the Cabbage, LLC.